everybody. We are back. It's been a while. I'm just a simple man, and my name is Noah Foster, and welcome to this special double-header edition of 205 Live Matters. And of course, with me, we are the Simple Holiday, is my closest friends. He is a family man. He has an incredible heart and passion for wrestling, then, now, and forever. Pro wrestling, I might add, not sports entertainment, necessarily. It's my good friend here, the Holiday, Mr. Christopher Mace. Chris, how are you? It's been a while. Boy, we've been through stuff.
I know it's been a busy week or so for you. Like I said, you've been going to school. I've been taking care of family stuff, and like I said, went to Elite Championship Wrestling in Florida last night, so that was fun entertainment. So now we're back to talk about 2 episodes of 205 Live. We get our first doubleheader, not 1 but 2 for the price of 1. So there you go.
Enjoy that treat, folks. Yeah, I mean, I celebrated my mom's 56th birthday yesterday. God bless her. It was a lot of fun. I'm still full of cake and laughs. I'm preparing, of course, for my next independent show. I'm going to Chaos Wrestling right here in Toledo, Ohio, next month here on the Maumee Fairgrounds. And then we got so much other wrestling going on right now that I need to tune in and get myself caught up with. We're coming off of Full Gear. By the way, congratulations to our Team NoDQ AEW branch winners. They will be going into 2020 as the AEW Tag Champs. You lucky son of a guns. And also, we still have to finish up the NJPW wing, and we'll be introducing the NWA wing led by you, as well as more, including a wild card, Ring of Honor pay-per-view, Final Battle. But we'll talk more about that later. I'll do a hype video about what's coming as far as my channel goes, as far as wrestling predictions go. But yeah, school, work, family, simple as that. It's been a wild, chaotic ride, and I had to put this on hiatus. But it works in our favor because not only did we have 205 Live Matters this week, of course, from Philadelphia, in Arena, November 15th, the previous week, we had a first time ever and probably one of my favorite 205 Live Matters, 205 Live episodes, emanating from Full Sail University on November the 8th from Florida. So what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow viewers, and thank you as always for your support and patience, we are going to literally go side by side with each show, talk about each show, each match, each field, and what we think served better and what we hope the future is for 205 Live. As again, they are in the rebuilding stages and further merging of it under the NXT banner. Let's go ahead and get right into it, talking about the earlier episode, because that episode led to events that occurred in between that episode and the later episode, as NXT plays a part. November 8th was a special episode of 205 Live. It emanated from Full Sail University. They did not give reason why. Who knows? I don't care. Personally, I hope it comes through, and I'll talk more about that later. So, of course, we had our commentary team of Tom Phillips and Aiden English. And this episode of 205 Live, it kicked off strong with first new intro package as we introduced the latest batch of Cruiserweights added to the 205 roster, including now the champ, Lio Rush, Swerve, Isaiah Swerve Scott. There, I got the name right. Y'all happy? Dadgummit. Raul Mendoza, and apparently the governor, Danny Burch. And then we go into the Full Sail Arena. Commentary led by Tom Phillips and Aiden English. And we got our first match, the man with a plan, the Brian Kendrick. And he's facing somebody with incredible momentum. Not part of the intro. Could be maybe later down the line. He is under the weight. A guy that has incredible momentum, mostly because of his, his home being controversial for reasons. Monsieur. Again, I'm nothing against the guy. That they're treating him well, but I feel like it's more of a business campaign behind him versus, performance behind him. Because there's many great performers like him, but you see what events have happened. You've seen how every event has been in his favor, and you see where these events are all from. So, I digress. Anyway, the Brian Kendrick versus Monsieur. A simple... I sounded French for a moment. Monsieur. Anyway, simple opening. What? It's Monsieur. Yes.
It should have been bonjour, just like you speak. So I know a little bit of French. Should have been bonjour.
I mean, I had blueberry crepes, and I was like, you undisputed breakfast of champions. But anyway, there's a recording of that. I'll share it with you later. It made Cindy laugh her butt off, and Caitlin too. Anyway, the opening match, the Brian Kendrick versus Monsieur. I thought it was a nice, simple opener. Kendrick, of course, being the man of the plan. He got the advantage working on the left arm of him, wrapping it around the exposed turnbuckle and wrenching it. Ouch. And it also led to him not being able to do a lot of power moves. And following this, he also squashed his arm in between the barricades outside the ring. Mansoor, he came back with wicked chops using the non-injured arm and a step up. That was interesting. He used his non-injured arm to literally maintain his weight, balance himself literally on one hand. That's brilliant. And then pop up back on his feet and basically knock the daylights out of the Brian Kendrick. And following that, he pulls off a Falcon Arrow, covered with the injured arm, though, could not maintain the cover, civil breakup. And then the Brian Kendrick, he regains momentum and goes for sliced bread number 2, gets countered into a scoop slam, similar to Orton, except, nope, Mansoor goes for a Death by Driver, nails it. But the Brian Kendrick kicks out, pulls off a half and half, beautifully done. He goes for the captain's hook, but then that gets countered. Mansoor runs into the ropes. We get scoop slam, but somehow, some way, and this was weird, but somehow he pulled it off. That was brilliant. He counters it into a roll-up pin combination and pins the Brian Kendrick for 3, continuing his momentum and Brian Kendrick continuing his derailing. Your thoughts on this opening match?
Well, before I talk about the opening match, I just want to do a shout out to Ricky for the People's W channel, because this is the reason why we actually got the show from Full Sail. Because when they went to United Kingdom on Friday Night SmackDown, because of where they originally were supposed to take Monday Night Raw from, they weren't able to. They had some things going on. So what they had to do was they had to do a Friday Night SmackDown and then immediately take Monday Night Raw right after SmackDown ended. So therefore, that's why they had 205 Live at Full Sail to try it out, but also because of that, they weren't going to be able to do 205 Live since they were doing a 2-hour SmackDown and a 3-hour Raw. So I just want to give a shout out to the People's W channel for letting me know about that, because like I said, he supports the channel, he watches everybody's channel, so I appreciate it. But he informed me about that because he was there live at both those shows, so that was the reason that happened.
Okay.
But as for the match, okay, Mansoor, I keep calling him Mansoor, and that really sounds horrible, but like I said, he did pretty good in the match. I think when he is led by a veteran, like the match with him, Cesaro, like the match here with Brian Kendrick, I think he looks really good, and he did a great job selling. He didn't forget that his arm was injured. He was selling it the whole match, and I think for what he did with Brian Kendrick, I thought it was a pretty good, solid opening match for the show. I want to see more out of him in the future. I want to see how he does when he's wrestling newer wrestlers, the ones that are not as experienced as Brian Kendrick, and that'll be the true test of how good Mansoor is, whether he's really that good or is it the other veteran wrestlers that are carrying him into a good match. That's going to be the true test for him. But all in all, I think he's a pretty good wrestler right now. Like I said, I have no issues with where he's from or anything like that. He's doing pretty good as a performer, so it's very interesting so far.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where his momentum keeps going from here, because you don't really see him much on the NXT TV, but clearly the Full Sail crowd knows who he is because he has competed on NXT before, and they're firmly behind the guy. So again, momentum is in his favor, and he had a great match. So kudos to him, and we'll see where his momentum takes him from there. Now, I know I said I was going to do a compare and contrast, but the funny thing is the way they handled this Full Sail thing, it almost makes me believe it was almost like a last-minute type deal, because the next portion of the Full Sail edition of 205 Live was a match from the NXT 2 days ago. Their recap was literally the full match, played in full from beginning to end, with the commentary team of Naja McGuinness, Marinello, and Beth Phoenix for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship #1 contenders match between Tony Nese and Angel Garza. And honestly, I'm kind of glad they did this, because, man, that was a good match. Take me through your thoughts on this match.
I can't believe he powerbombed Pants, or tried to powerbomb Pants. That was the first thing. I'll always remember that. Tony Nese powerbomb Pants. What did I just see? I thought it was a really good match. It was very entertaining, and like I said, I wasn't surprised that Angel Garza won the match. I wasn't surprised at that. Like I said, it's going to continue Tony Nese's story of keep going downhill, because eventually Tony Nese is going to come back up. He's going to earn another opportunity at that title. But I like it because, it's going to keep him. Hopefully it turns Tony Nese into a little bit more of a darker character going forward, trying to reinvent himself a little bit. Like I said before, they were starting to do it with Gulak, and then they moved Gulak to SmackDown, and I don't want to talk about what they're doing on SmackDown with him, but Like I said, so I think this is where they're going with the story here with Nice. Nice going to keep losing till he finally just completely snaps and he changes his character up drastically.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of cover the key point of this match, but let's face it, this match was a battle of egos and abs, as Marl, Bev, and Nigel was putting over. Basically, in this match, we had everything you can imagine. Pants were about to come off in the early start as both men were exchanging. As Garza stopped Tony Nese in his tracks, said, "Stop!" And as he was going to go for the wardrobe malfunction, much to the crowd's readiness, no. And then Garza's like, "Why you deny this? I'm going to kick you in the face." Tony Nese, he follows up with chops, and Garza's just wanting more, actually, as he keeps getting chopped and chopped and chopped. Garza's like, "Come on!" And eventually Tony Nese, oh yeah, he gave him more, beat the daylights out of the guy, threw him in and out of the ring. Later on towards the match, he literally goes for a sunset power bomb, and yep, he rips the pants off Garza and power bombs a pair of pants. Of all the weird ass things I've seen in wrestling, from Scott Steiner beating a fake duck in WCW, going that far back, power bombing a pair of pants. I think that just took the cake for me.
Yep.
Anyway, following this, we get a beautiful movesaw by Garza, not enough, and then Tony Nese, he follows up with a 450 splash later on, but somehow touching the rope with his boot, Garza, with that awareness, was able to stop the pinfall, which infuriated Tony Nese. And later on, Tony Nese, he pulls up another moonsault, but then gets a back kick for his trouble, and then Garza capitalizes in the end with his finisher, butterfly underhook, slams him to the mat, just all that pressure release, called the wing clipper, and that lets him get the win. 1, 2, 3 in a very competitive, close to 8-minute bout, I believe. And he earned a title shot against Leo Rush for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship the following week. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
As Garza left the ring, Leo Rush came out, congratulated him, said, "Hey, I'm looking forward to it." And Garza, being as, again, his name and the little graphic with the devil's tail, it plays to his persona. Yeah. Smacks him in the face, but Leo Rush basically kind of knew that was going to happen. Like, okay, I see ya. Garza's like, eh. And it's like, okay, I'll see ya. I'll see you next week. We'll see what you are. We'll see what you bring. And that was it as far as that part of the show goes. Looking forward to it. Then they hype up Danny Burch, a newcomer now who's pretty much part of the 205 Live roster, as now he's part of the intro package they updated. And basically, Burch says he's got a lot to prove. He's out to make a name for himself. I think he can do it. We'll see what happens. And then we get probably the best thing that happened with Raw and SmackDown that week. A recap of the NXT invasion. When NXT invaded SmackDown and Shayna Baszler took out everybody, including Bayley. Tegan Nox, they took out Carmella and Dana Brooke. I don't think that's really hard to do. Sorry, not sorry. And then Adam Cole, baby. Triple H brings in the champ as Daniel Bryan came out asking Shawn Michaels, Triple H right there. And, hey, they called up for a fight, so we came to pick a fight. Daniel Bryan wanted a fight. He got a fight. And one of the best matches I've seen on SmackDown in years. Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole have a 20-minute classic where Adam Cole wins and Triple H takes his claim. You want a war? This is our army. We are NXT. And it wasn't done there. As the following week, they go to Raw and they do the same thing. They invade. Keith Lee takes out everybody at the end. And Seth Rollins faces Adam Cole. Bad. Undisputed Era takes their claim. Raw right now, at this point, you're looking pretty weak with who you had as your defenses. And then they go back into the arena for the main event, which was actually a match asked by both men, Leo Rush and Raul Mendoza. This was one Control-C, Control-V. I didn't mind. Your thoughts on the recap of the invasion, what you expect to see from Danny Burch, and give me your outlook on this match.
I'm going to be interested to see Danny Burch on his own. I'm used to seeing him teaming with Oney Lorcan, so if he's going to go on a singles run, I'm kind of interested to see how it's going to play out. I think he can pull it off, but we'll have to wait and see. I think it does help them now that 205 Live is part of NXT now. I think that actually is going to benefit Danny Burch because he'll have different opponents to face, and with his style of wrestling, I think it's going to be really interesting and see how well it'll go. The highlights of SmackDown Raw, like I said, I think that was one of the best SmackDowns in the last since the Attitude Era they've had because of what they had to do. I think it was really well done. I think it started the feud, the setup for Survivor Series early. Thought it worked out really amazing. Like I said, Adam Cole versus Daniel Bryan. That was a great 20-minute match. I'm glad we had a clean finish and Adam Cole retaining the NXT title. They showed again on Raw, see everything going on with Raw, Undisputed Era, making their mark, making their statement. Seth Rollins versus Adam Cole wasn't as good as Daniel Bryan versus Adam Cole, but then, like I said, they did the disputed finish, which that's what I was expecting on Friday. And when we got a clean finish, I was expecting we're going to get a clean finish. Adam Cole's going to either retain his title or they're going to do something interesting with Seth Rollins winning the NXT title and then him going to NXT and maybe dropping it right back to Adam Cole. Then, like, oh, it's a fluke. I want my rematch now. And then they do a rematch and Adam Cole's going to win it just to do something to shake it up, make it more interesting. But they missed the opportunity with that. But other than that, like I said, I like how the storyline's playing, building up the Survivor Series so far with this. And then for the match itself, Raul Mendendez, I always butcher his name. Raul, like I said, I think he's a future star. He's very talented. I think this match with him and Leo Rush was amazing. I liked it. I thought it was really well done. I liked how after the fact when Leo Rush did win, I liked the fact at the end, he was going for his title, but then he waited for a second and he saw Raul in the corner. He went, didn't try to help him out or anything, just put his fist out there and Raul just hit his fist back, It wasn't like this big handshake, oh, hug it out, oh, let's hug it out and stuff like that, which was good. And so it was, like I said, it was great. And like I said, we've had complaints about everybody, always showing respect towards the match. But, that was a simple, to the point, hey, man, that was a good match, man, and then that was simple. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's something where you don't show respect every time, but it's one of those things where it's built over time, and you're like, okay, I get you, and I respect what you bring in the ring. I mean, yeah, it was definitely quicker than their first one. It was fast and furious from the get-go. Raul Mendoza controlling the beginning. We got pulled off with a spinning net breaker and a moonsault. A couple of Leo Rush's classics. And then we got Phoenix Splash pulled up by Raul Mendoza, who claimed, I'm going to take your title. But in the end, the champ, he prevailed with taking out him at the knee, a roundhouse kick, and not the final hour splash, but that corkscrew neck breaker, which was a brilliant way to really extend the involvement of the champion, but also what it took to beat your challenger. You didn't just beat him the same way. You had to resort to something else in your repertoire. So I thought it was a really good match, but I did not expect Raul Mendoza to win this. But it's definitely the strongest Raul Mendoza has been showcased. Considering every time it was showcased in NXT's, earlier growth, maybe a couple of years ago per se, he was being squashed by everyone debuting. Now he's literally winning matches and being showcased fully for his talents in a division that really works in his favor towards his style, Lucha Libre. So that was it for the Full Sail edition. I thought for first they pulled it off majorly, and of course it connected with what happened with NXT, and of course where we're now at. So let's go ahead and talk about what happened in NXT this week. As you remember, that show from Full Sail recalled that Angel Garza, he won that number one contenders match against Tony Nese to challenge Leo Rush for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. And so we got the match in NXT as the opener. Holy shit! What a match! Yep. Enough said. What a damn match. I mean, first off, you had the setup for the match, okay? In the very beginning, Angel Garza, he comes out, gets a kiss from somebody in the eyes, makes someone happy. I'm surprised it wasn't the granny this time. Or maybe it was, I don't remember. Anyway, Leo Rush, though, he comes out, and we find that his wife, his kids, his mother, his grandma, they're all there in Full Sail to watch Leo Rush live. That's amazing. And then we go into the match. We get the championship introduction of a match with the NXT logo embedded on the ring, lights gone down, just the focus on the ring, Angel Garza, Leo Rush. This is a big damn deal. This is showcasing a match. This is a strong opener. And then the match begins. It starts with both men denying themselves of a clothesline and a right hook. Actually, it starts off with a handshake first, but Leo's like, no, remember, you slapped me. And then later on, he goes for it again, kneeling on a knee. Shake my hand. Shake my hand. And Leo Rush just kicks it away. And then Garza's like, Now, this is where you pissed Leo off. He goes into the audience in front of Leo's wife and children and rips the pants off. Oh, shit. And we didn't see it on camera during NXT, but this week's episode 205 Live that emanated in Philadelphia, underneath the arena again, damn it. It did show the recap, and we saw the look on freaking Leo Rush's face. You talk about a pissed off dude. He suicides diving at 1,000 miles per hour and then slams him with a DDT. And then he goes after the come-up stunner, gets denied by Garza. He's like, nope, you're not going to get me with that. And then he dives into a power slam. Garza literally catches him on the torpe and slams him to the freaking ground. That was brilliant. And following that, handspring, elbow strike, Garza's in control. And then Leo Rush, he tries to gain control back, only to get a step-up knee strike, shades of Buddy Murphy, it felt like, when Garza struck him in the face. And then Leo Rush, with some comeuppance, slaps Garza in the face, and then does a come-up, again, only to get freaking caught with a drop kick. That ricocheted Leo Rush, I'm like, oh, damn! That's it. Near fall. First near fall of the match, not enough. And then we go and get a moonsault, one of Garza's specials, but he misses, and Leo Rush capitalizes with his spinning neckbreaker. Not enough. The match continues. And following this, we find both men up in the corner as Leo Rush goes for his final hour splash. Garza denies him, catches him, cradles him, and pulls off, what the hell? A freaking moonsault power slam? That is unbelievably ingenious. And then following this, still not enough, Garza showing extreme frustration. The crowd is literally amped up. And then Leo Rush, he pulls up what they call Rush Hour, which is, of course, his Spanish Fly follow-up. And then he hits him with a kick, and then finally pulls off the come-up, slaps him again for good measure. He wasn't done, issuing punishment. But now he's like, okay, that's it, I'm done with you. One more come-up. No, He catches him into the wing clipper. Garza screaming, gripping as tight as possible, slams him down. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's going to become the champion. I thought we literally had a new champion. 2 9/10, the closest near fall in this match. And then he's like, couldn't believe it, about to rip his hair out. He goes to pull Leo Rush up with him, like, okay, I got to take it to another level. How about a mega wing clipper? As it seems he was about to do it, he had him still locked in place. Leo gains enough consciousness to literally fight out of it, and both men are headbutting each other like goats. Constantly, to the point they're both weary. And somehow Leo Rush, he has enough wherewithal to wrap his legs around Garza and rise him off the top. And remains on the turnbuckle. Pulls off the final hour splash. That's it. The match is, no, what the hell? He kicked out! And Leo Rush, complete dismay and disbelief. Following this, Leo Rush doesn't know what to do, so what does he do? He pulls him, I don't know why, but he pulls him closer to the side of the ring and comes up with another final hour. 1, 2-way filler, I got all 3. And somehow, under maybe controversial standards, but ref didn't see it, so it is what it is. Crowd boos, crowd cheers, crowd can't believe it, Garza can't believe it. But Leo Rush retains the NXT Cruiserweight Championship in a match to remember in his first title defense. And as we go now into 205 Live, they also showed on this recap, Garza is in disbelief. He knows that his foot was on the rope. Ref didn't see it. He goes into the audience. He berates Leo Rush's family. Hey, my foot was on the rope. Leo Rush's like, I don't care. You lost. Get the hell out of here. I don't care. And then Garza's like, and then walks away. Then we learn on exclusive that Leo Rush, with his wife, says, after being asked about Garza took you to the limit, were you worried at all? Basically says, I won, didn't I? And I'll tell you this much. If Garza ever gets in my wife's face again, I will make sure to rearrange his where it won't be looking so beautiful. Okay, before we talk about now the actual 205 Live episode, Chris, take me for your thoughts on what truly was one of the best Cruiserweight Championship matches we have seen in a while. What a match!
This was WrestleMania worthy. I honestly believe this match was incredible. it told a great story. You know, Angel Garza, like I said, Angel, he's trying to pretty much win the Cruiserweight Championship. You know, he's using psychology. Like I said, he's trying to get in Leo's head here. You know, the slap last week on last episode. You know, he's trying to get his head, you know, trying to, you know, taking the pants off in front of his wife and kids, doing all the shenanigans he was trying to do. You know, for him to kick out of Leo Rush's finish is a testament, because not too many people do that.
Nope.
So for him to do that showed there was something there. That made me think right in there, oh shit, he's winning. Because that's what it made me think when I saw that. When he kicked out, I said he's winning the title. But they set it up perfectly where now he's got a reason now to complain, because as the heel, that's a good thing storyline here. He is playing the part of the heel perfectly. He's got every right to complain. He's got his foot on the rope. Now he can be like crowing, like, no, you didn't beat me. I have my foot on the rope as a ref was counting. That's no. And then he tries to make it personal. He's going to keep trying to make it personal to his family, to either coerce Leo Rush into giving him another match for the Cruiserweight Championship. But, you know, we'll have to wait and see, because, like I said, it's all up to Eli Drake, who's still the general manager of 205 Live, as we know of. So it's all up to them how they play the story out. But I still think right now I'm seeing Angel Garza winning that Cruiserweight Championship. The next time they go at it for the Cruiserweight title, I don't see how he can't win the Cruiserweight Championship at this point. I think he's going to play the psychology game, keep messing with Leo Rush, getting in his head, and try to go ahead and win the title by hook or by crook. He's going to win that title. But see, the only thing that aggravates me about this is, where was this Angel Garza when he was having matches with Humberto? What the hell? If he would have pulled off the stuff he did here with Humberto, that would have been incredible too. Like, he has that fire. If he can pull off matches like this, I expect him to pull off matches like this every time. Be it at a consistent level. Don't be wishy-washy. You pulled off this incredible match with Leo Rush. I want to see more of this Angel Garza in the ring. I want to see more of him in the ring. Like I said, he had an incredible matchup, all the stuff he was doing with Tony Nese, but I want to see this kind of wrestler out of Angel Garza. I want to see this in the future, period.
This was absolutely incredible. Like 18 minutes, I think this match went for, and it was my favorite match on NXT, and that's saying, and it was the opener. This is what we've been saying since the start of this series, that how these guys can open a pay-per-view and give you that crowd the hot start. Because this crowd was going gangbusters this entire match, back and forth between Garza and Leo. And literally, I hope this match happens again, because, again, they did set up that idea that I had my foot on the rope. I was still alive in this match. I can beat him if you give me another chance. Now, I have no idea what Drake Maverick thought of this. I have no idea what Rigo thought of this. I have no idea what the two plan to do with this. But there's no way this is over, and I'm glad it's not. What a freaking match, though. Damn! Anyway, let's go ahead and get into this week's episode of 205 Live. Again, it emanated from the arena post-SmackDown in the city of love, Philadelphia. And interestingly enough, all I heard was Andy in English. No Tom Phillips. It's just Andy English talking, introducing us to the show. And basically, after the recap, and we get, of course, the new updated, video package with the theme, we basically learn about our first match being, Angel Garza versus Jack Gallagher. But we also learn for the first time, he's been doing interviews lately now in NXT. I think he's one of the newest hires, per se. I don't know much about him. John Quatso is now apparently, I don't know if this is permanent, but at least it was this week. He was the color commentator, I think, this week on 205. I feel like he was carrying the show himself. That was just me. And maybe that's just because I know how good he is on commentary and how he's been doing over weeks. But John Quatso, I'm going to have to get used to that if that's the case. But I can get it. Tom Phillips, he's doing stuff in NXT UK with Nigel McGuinness. Kind of hard to do both this and this at the same time throughout the week, despite jet lag, blah, 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 blah. So I thought this was an interesting revamp for 205 Live, if you can say that. I'm surprised they didn't do like Mickey James as a third at this point, but okay. Before I talk about the first, I got nothing. So moving on. So our first match again, it was Angel Garza, as we talked about, versus the gentleman Jack Gallagher. Now remember, the last time we saw Jack Gallagher, He was in a match where he demonstrated really ruthless aggression as he tried to figure out himself, but got a win on a jobber. An emphatic win, I might add. But this match was against a guy coming off a loss in an incredible NXT Cruiserweight Championship match, Angel Garza. And also, this episode really was kind of the start of the new up-and-comers versus the old school of 205 Live. Because Jack Gallagher is an OG. He is a 205 Live original. Chris, your thoughts on this match?
I don't know what they're doing with the gentleman. Either, like I said, I'm going to keep preaching about this till they finally establish him. Either make him a vicious heel, or, because like I said, he's got the pedigree to do it. He's got the technical skills. He can tell great stories. Either make him a vicious heel or keep him as a babyface, but not this little in-between stuff. That's starting to drive me crazy a little bit. The match itself, like I said, nowhere near as good as what we just talked about with the NXT Championship match. Like I said, I keep going to preach on this. I want that Angel Garza every match from what I saw in NXT, because now I know he can pull it off. This match, for what it was, I was pretty entertained by it. But like I said, eventually something's got to happen with the gentleman where he snaps and starts doing something and getting some wins here, because he can't be the only one of the couple guys to be in there and always taking the loss. Like I said, I know he's facing Angel Garza. I can understand they're telling the story, building the story. Angel Garza did win with holding on to the tights. But I was like, okay, you just came out with this incredible match. You didn't have to cheat to win. You could have. They got to do something with the gentleman. They got to do something different. I'm honestly, and as much as I love the gentleman on 205 Live, I think right now they might end up needing to send him to NXT UK for a little bit and let him get a revamp on his character, then come back later down the road at 205 Live at this point.
Yeah, it's weird. To me, it's a guy like there's a lot of characteristics and machismo of Eddie Guerrero. I mean, he cheated. Simple as that. This match, though, was pretty okay for what it offered. I mean, in the very beginning, though, of course, we go with the handshake thing. Jack Gallagher doesn't fall for it. Angel Garza later gains control with a haircut, the helicopter spin, face plants, bomb, and then we get a suspended springboard slam. Again, Angel Garza controlling most of this match, and then, of course, after this, pants come off, and English like, woo, man. I guess since Umberto Carrillo's gone, English now has to go Google Gaga over Angel Garza. I feel like English now has to try and figure out what he needs to do for 205 Live commentary now that this John Quetzal guy's here, and I guess he's supposed to be the lead commentator. So now it's like English has to figure out, is he going to be the heel or the face? Is he going to just be indifferent between matches? Because I'm pretty sure we saw all of that during this show. But anyway, following that, pants come off. Jack does gain momentum in this match with double underhook slam. He outsmarts. No, I take that back. Jack Gallagher gains some momentum, but he loses it again with double underhook. And then as Jack Gallagher was going outside of the ring, Angel Garza with just a wicked slap to the back. As you probably going to go suicide dive, Jack went, no! It's like, that was ingenious. I haven't seen that for a while. But, of course, Jack Gallagher, he has to come back at least somewhat. So what does he do? He headbutts the freaking guy out of the ring. And then he brings it back in. And then Jack takes a moment to admire his work. Hence, I thought, like you said, he's going to heel or whatever, going dark. And then he's like, but he took too long because Angel Garza got out of the way of the gentleman's drop kick and roll up. Angel Garza won. Wasn't sure, though, but on replay, handful of tights. So once again, Angel Garza continues his momentum off his incredible match, also showcasing why he's a heel. And Jack Gallagher is still trying to figure out himself what he needs to do to freaking win and get some momentum. I don't know what's next for this guy at this point, but if he doesn't figure out something, man, I hate to say it, but maybe it's time to move on, brother, because you seem indifferent, but you also don't know how to bring the wins together. You gotta bring something together, bro. Jeez. All right. And then following this, though, he was just putting him over the fact that he got distracted, and Jack Gallagher needs to. I gotta be honest with you. I thought Jack Gallagher and English were gonna come to blows because a commentator is not a wrestler, but English, as we know, is a wrestler. So This leads me to a question: do you think they're trying to set up Jack Gallagher versus Aiden English.
Be interesting. Like I said, we know Aiden English can wrestle. Like I said, but how long has it been since he's really wrestled? That's that's the question I have to ask. I know it's been a while since he wrestled. I think the last match he wrestled that I remember was against Rusev. Was the last match he had. So I don't know. I'd be interesting in it, but then, like I said, Jack, the gentleman, must go heel. He must be a full-fledged heel. Be the badass. You have the technical skills. You have the talent. Be a badass in this. And, if you're going to set up program him in English, you need to pretty much dominate it in English.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the last match Aiden English had was at the Worlds Collide special earlier this year, Royal Rumble weekend.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he was.
Who was that against, though? I don't even remember.
I don't either.
Representing 205 Live. I gotta go back and watch that because that special wasn't that bad, actually. But I digress. Bottom line, though, Jack Gallagher, he needs something. And what's funny here is not during the intro, not during the show, not post-show, not nothing. We have yet to see hi nor tell or anything. I haven't even looked on social media, so I don't know. But at this point, I don't know anything about Drake Maverick's feedback on any of this or anything that's been going on within the Cruiserweight division. So are you a free agent and literally just stuck in between SmackDown at this point? Are you trying to help EC3 rekindle his fire, if that's possible? I don't know anything that's going on. WWE right now is so many things lost in the shuffle. The only thing that seems to be concrete right now is NXT. But I digress. All right, so let's see here. The next thing, excuse me for one moment. Stupid freaking 24/7 title. Get rid of that piece of crap. It is the Dynamo Volcano. It is wasteful. I cannot believe they put this as an actual title match on top.
Yes, well, we need a censor button for Noah now while he's doing this.
Fucking bullshit. Okay.
Kumbaya, amor, kumbaya, kumbaya. I'm sorry, I was trying to help you calm down.
I'm fine. I just need. Let me take a sip of my Mountain Dew.
That always makes you feel better. Take a sip.
Cold breath.
Woosha, bad boys too. Woosha, rub the ears. Calm down. Enhance your calm.
Okay. By the way, boys, 27, 10 Grange died at the hands of both of them. Moving on. Anyway, like I covered earlier, Lio Rush, post-match interview, he says that this rivalry is actually feeling more personal. And by the way, the interviewer, John Gazzo. So I found that kind of interesting. It makes me wonder if he's not only going to be a commentator of 205 Live, is he going to be the guy that actually interviews the Cruiserweights going forward? Then again, he's been interviewing NXT superstars also. He interviewed Dakota Kai, so I'm curious to see how he plays and all this. Again, as 205 Live is supposed to be under the NXT umbrella, which certainly seems to be the case with what's been going on lately. Anyway, he says in this rally, it feels like it's becoming personal. And again, next time Garza steps up to my wife, I'll rearrange his face. I'm telling you, it looks like right now we got 4 matches for NXT TakeOver War Games. It would not surprise me if the 5th match is an NXT Cruiserweight Championship match again between Garza and Rush, and I would not mind that. But again, we'll see what happens this week. All right, so I was losing my train of thought. Oh yeah, so our main event was actually the new school, as I keep putting over, who are invading 205 Live per se and really making it their own, versus the old school, the 205 Live originals, Lio Rush and Raul Mendoza together versus Tony Nese and Arya Daivari. Boy, how the tides have turned for Tony Nese and Arya Daivari. Incredible start to their year. Tony Nese becoming the Cruiserweight champion at WrestleMania with Buddy Murphy in the kickoff show, though. Arya Daivari on an undefeated streak for the early half of the year. Got an opportunity for the Cruiserweight title at the bank. Failed to capitalize on it. And then Tony Nese lost the title to Drew Gulak at Stomping Grounds in a triple threat. And both men have been kind of in a tailspin ever since. And then they faced the team of Lio Rush and Mendoza, Leo Rush, who got the title off Drew Gulak, Raul Mendoza, who has showcased incredible tenacity, athleticism, and matches for 205 Live against Leo Rush, not once, but twice, to the point these two, they would respect each other, they were a tag team. This obviously was a match about, we are originals of 205 Live, this is our world, you do not belong here, but also it could be a fact that, oh, you're the champion, I'm going to take that title from you, go back to NXT. Because I feel like there is an internal war between 205 Live and NXT to a degree, even though they're all supposed to be NXT. Because keep in mind, Survivor Series is SmackDown versus Raw versus NXT, but they do have nothing so far with 205 Live included. They haven't even mentioned 205 Live included in this war. Although I wouldn't mind seeing Cedric Alexander versus Swerve Scott, but I digress.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, your thoughts on this tag team main event, and what do you see next for all four of these men?
Thought this was a great main event. This is a great way to close the show out. These four men are incredible. Like I said, Daivari is the best heel on 205 Live. He's been the best heel all year. His work's incredible as a heel. Storytelling he tells, he's got the best psychology out of everybody at 205 Live right now. I would have said Gulak was number one, but like I said, with Gulak being gone, Daivari's the number one guy. It was psychology-wise, along with Brian Kendrick. Like I said, they have great psychology. They know how to get the crowd into the match. He does great work with that. Tony Nese, like I said, his downward spiral. I'm telling you, he's going to end up breaking. Like I said, all these people, they've got at some point, whether it's the gentleman, whether it's Tony Nese, somebody's got to break and get pissed off. They keep losing and just go full badass on somebody at this point. If somebody's going to break, I'm trying to guess who's going to break at this point. Leo Rush and Raul Mendoza, I want to call him Mendoza. Like I said, they actually worked well as a team. I really did like the match and how it went. They worked real well as a team. And you know what? One matchup I wouldn't mind seeing later on down the road would be, Leo Rush teaming with Raul Mendoza against Undisputed Era for the NXT tag titles. That would be interesting because then you got the 205 Live stars competing for the NXT tag team titles. I know I preached about on giving them an opportunity on the main brand on Raw or SmackDown, but since for NXT, why the hell not? I would love to see them two versus Undisputed Era, but I'm digressing, as you would say, on this, Matt, what the question was. The match itself I thought was really well done. It was very entertaining back and forth. Like I said, Raul Mundez, I might call him Mundez. Raul, I'm just going to call him Raul and just leave it at that. Raul, like I said, he's going to be a future star. Leo Rush's on top of his game. Tony Nese and Daivari, like I said, I don't want him to be put on the back burner. They're gonna find something for him to do. I said I know there's gonna be some interesting matchups with them on NXT for sure, where Tony needs to have a feud with, or even Daivari to have a feud with. I'm interested in some of these matchups coming up. Like I said, this match was really well done. I thought it was a great way to close the show. Leo Rush and Raul winning was the right idea, and we're gonna keep going.
Yeah, keep getting that momentum to the champions and to the newcomers from NXT, because pretty much they're taking over 205 Live, it seems. And this match was definitely an interesting jockey of styles. It had its fast pace with Leo Rush and Mendoza getting forward momentum after a pre-match cheap attack failed by Tony Nese and Arya Daivari. And then, again, Raul Mendoza, Leo Rush, they control the early portion of this match. The heels gain control with distraction, of course, by Arya Daivari that gave Tony Nese forward control. It was Nese and Leo. Eventually, Leo Rush, he takes out Arya Daivari, what it looked like a number of times, by the way. Tony Nese and Arya Daivari, they went for some tandem tag team offense. A couple of times it stick, a couple of times it backfired. Cue the hot tattoo, Raul Mendoza. I got you covered. He pulled out some incredible offense, taking out both men, and then Nese, however, he finally gets tagged into Daivari. Daivari tries to gain some form of momentum, and they do. There was a nice spot I found with Daivari and Nese getting some good tag team chemistry going with a vertical suplex spot, and both of them are just looking out at the crowd, just holding Raul up in the air, letting all the blood rush to his head. Ouch. Eventually, Raul, he gets the hot tag to Leo. Again, there was a lot of jockeying for control. This match was more about who could control the pace versus who could really showcase, which was really different for a main event, considering what you would expect normally from a 205 Live main event. But again, They're building their roster. That's literally what they're doing at this point, I have to imagine. Anyway, Lio Rush, he pulls up all the hot spots, handstand, springboard, elbow strike, and then he kicks. Actually, no, it was at one point, I believe, that they go for a kick. Lio, he capitalizes on it. And then we get a ridiculous overhead suplex with a kick to Lio Rush. A nice combination by Nice Davari. Not enough. Israel came in and broke it up. Following this, after a pump handle, Davari, he goes to super kick Lio. Lio gets out of the way. He super kicks his own partner. Uh-oh. And then he gets to come up for his trouble, which, of course, the bomb rope stunner that Lio Rush does, which allows for Raul to come in and pull off, I don't know what the hell you call that he did. It was like a weird swing around end of days of his own to allow for a 450 crash from Tony Nese after he breaks up that pin combination by Raul. And the final hour after the tap to Lio gives Lio the win for his team. Rush and Raul, they win. So here's the thing. The OGs of 205 Live, they are constantly losing. The new crop in 205 Live, they're really seizing the brand, making it their own. They're winning. So I don't know at this point. Tony needs to flip-flop between face, heel, face, heel. Ever since he lost the title, he has yet to figure out himself. Davari, straight up heel. Simple as that. But he lost all that momentum from earlier in the year, and he has not been able to try and get a title opportunity. At this point, you have Tony Nese in NXT. Time to bring Arya Davari into NXT for a qualifying match for the Cruiserweight Championship. I'm not saying you have to set up a match as soon as War Games, but there should be some sort of setup coming out of Survivor Series. Who should challenge Lio Rush next? Unless you do the New Japan thing, give the Cruiserweights the weekend off, give them a little bit of rest. I don't know what's to come from this, but again, I thought it was a pretty good main event, and I thought the right team won here too. What also is to my attention is usually around this time, they start bringing up the Tag Team Classic. Now with the whole debate about AEW, and they want this, and they own this. Are they going to call it the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic? And are they going to bring hybrid teams from NXT UK, NXT, and 205 Live now? Because you're right. Lio Rush, Real Mendoza could be an amazing team for that. But I guess only time will tell. And as far as Tony Nese goes, I'm sorry. I think at this point, he's lost in the shuffle. All right. So with that being said, that concludes both these editions of 205 Live. So let's go ahead right quick and talk about which one we thought was better. We had the Full Sail one, and then we had post-Full Sail. In my opinion, if they could stick it in Full Sail, and they not so much use a segment of it as recap for a whole match, but maybe like portions of a match, I thought the formula was pretty much there, and as long as you keep that cursed piece of shit away from that arena, I'm fine with that too. But I honestly love the implementation they did at Full Sail. Even the fact of the matter is, I think yellow goes better with purple and orange than blue does. I would personally be glad if Full Sail was the permanent home of 205 Live. Chris, what about you?
I'm kind of torn on it, actually. I like them both for different reasons. I liked the Full Sail because it was different. It was a different setup. You know that's where NXT is, so you know how the crowd's going to react. You know it's going to be a constant excitement. Because it's going to be a consistency of excitement. That's what 205 Live needs to get the hype. But when I'm watching it this week, and I see, the crowd was getting into a lot of the stuff. Like I said, maybe it's because Philadelphia. Like I said, certain cities, no matter what you do, you could sneeze and they're going to react to it. So it's one of those things. I like the idea what they did with Full Sail. I think, like I said, though, I don't think they have a full idea what they want to do yet with it, just because I feel like I said, started at the beginning of the video explaining why they did it at Full Sail. Yep. I think it was something that was rushed last minute. And I kind of feel like they missed the opportunity to take them, if they hadn't done what happened, to take them to UK, because that's when we could have the interactions with the NXT UK stars. That's what I always love when they go to the UK for those interactions. I was kind of disappointed we didn't get that because of that. But I think once they get a hang with it, I would really love it if they keep doing it Full Sail, but I think they need to adjust a little bit of thing. I think they just did that show on the fly, and it wasn't fully planned out. So we'll see if they do next time, how it looks next time. I'm like I said, right now I'm torn in between it because I think it was just done so, like, on the fly last minute, where it wasn't really planned out. It wasn't something that was really thoroughly planned out.
Yeah, I get your points there. And also, every week on NXT, you do see at least one cruiserweight being showcased. Right now, it's basically between Angel Garza and Isaiah Swerve Scott. So now I'm wondering, like, okay, when are we going to see more from Danny Burch? Are we going to see more from other NXT breakout 20 stars that could fit on 205 Live? I'm still wondering what happened to Joaquin Wilde. I don't know if he's injured or not, but I know he would be a prime candidate as well. And if Trevor Lee can shed a few pounds, because we haven't seen him since his last match win. I'm sorry, not Trevor Lee. Cameron Grimes could also be another fit. And then there's another name that I think could also work back on 205 Live under this new crop of stars, especially since now we don't know what his future is after pretty much British Strong Style still ensuring themselves, oh, yeah, we're still alive. No M. Dar. Let's bring him back and see what he can do. There's also a different right now feud between Ligero and Travis Banks. Two more potential contenders that could also do a lot for the 205 Live roster once they bypass what's going on between them. But right now, they're at the mercy of Joseph Connors. So there's definitely still a lot of elements in play here trying to be figured out and established for 205 Live. But, yeah, I get what you mean as far as the incarnation to fully under the Full Sail environment. But, hey, it definitely felt more lively there, though, and respected, and I think better for what it gave us. And on that note, I also was thinking about this, too.
Let me use the restroom real quick, and I'll be right back. All right, that's why I wanted to chime out while you were – hold on a sec.
Yeah, you're good. Because my voice is a reader. I wonder if that clip is still on there.
A few moments later.
These SpongeBob ones today on this episode. We're going to go in a few moments later. Holiday keeps disappearing. She must be working for Santa or something.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. Don't worry. All right. So, you know, I don't know. I'm just right now indifferent with the way 205 Live is kind of right now. I'm fickle between it. Both of them, to a degree. It depends on the town, too. Sometimes that arena really pops, especially during a hot event. And I thought that the match on the actual 205 Live this week was pretty darn good in the main event. It just didn't really pick up towards it. It wasn't like the crowd was like straight into it from the beginning like other matches in the past. But I digress. All right, so we talked about which environment we think might be better. Let's talk about which one was better. So just simple enough. If I have to grade a Full Sail edition and this week's edition, I give Full Sail because it was the first in the environment on a scale of 5 and 2 matches and 1 recap. And the fact that Leo Rush versus Raul Mendoza 2 was much faster than the first one. I'm going to give it 3 and 3. I'm going to give it 3 3/4 out of 5. And I think as far as this week goes, because of the chaos and the opener, I don't know what's going on with Jack. And really the last match was really carried the show. It was like a little less for me. I'm going to give that one 3 1/4. So in my opinion, the Full Sail edition won. Chris, what about you? What would you grade each week episode on a scale of 5?
Full Sail, I'm going to give a 4. I think, like I said, the Brian Kendrick is truly showing how much of a veteran he is now, because I remember him being Spanky all the way back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting old. But like I said, I think he was able to help elevate Mansoor into, like I said, being more credible as a wrestler. Like I said, I can't wait to see how he does when he faces wrestlers that haven't been as experienced as he's been facing as of late. I think with that match, I think with, showcasing what happened with Angel Garza and Tony Nese and Tony Nese powerbombing pants, it's always a good time now. That's going to be a meme sometime soon. And the main event that we got, like I said, I think Leo Rush is on fire. Ever since he's come back, he's been on fire. He's been on a roll. I'm never going to say his name right, Raul Menendez. That's Hi, Cat. How you doing? And so other than that, like I said, I'm giving a 4 because I thought that was a great main event as well. They showcased everything of those two gentlemen, and I would give it a 4. This week's show, it's getting a 3. And the reason it's getting a 3 because we didn't talk about the middle of the show because I cannot believe they did that. And I'm not going to even talk about it because they don't even deserve the right to be acknowledged what they did. You can go watch it on YouTube channel if you want to see what happened with that.
There you go.
Main event, but I said the main event was pretty good. Like I said, I liked it. I said the beginning of the show was interesting. The cat wants to say hi to me, so excuse me, y'all.
Yeah.
But and then, like I said, the opening match, like I said, the Angel Garza winning was a good decision. But like I said, what are they doing with the gentleman? So, like I said, I'm giving that one a 3.5. That's my thoughts on it.
All right, well, fair enough. Well, we still have the same consensus. The Full Sail edition was better overall for what it brought for first time. I hope it's not the last. But as far as permanent incarnation, not quite there yet, but I hope that's the end goal. And I guess we'll see what happens as we get closer towards 2020, because I'm sure there's more changes to come, without a doubt. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into some simple stances. I want to start with this. So here's the thing. There are so many people right now asking for their release. It's ridiculous, but you know why. So we've heard now that people limited, like but not limited to, Luke Harper, Mike Kanellis, even Sin Cara have now requested their release. But there's also some people here that are indifferent, and I'm not sure what the future lies. One person we talk about tonight is at that crossroads, no pun intended. The Brian Kendrick. The Brian Kendrick, according to, for shout out to my friend Eric Brian, follow at Neil Reality Entertainment. We do our weekly edition of the Wednesday Night War every week. Good person too, great conversations. The Brian Kendrick has decided to take a leave of absence from WWE. He's basically taking a break. He said, and I quote, "It's been 3 years since my last Cruiserweight title opportunity. Since then, it has become evident that nobody on 205 Live understands or respects the road I have paved for them. Therefore, I am taking an indefinite leave of absence from the ring. At WWE, hashtag 205 Live." And he posts a picture of a beautiful sunset on the water just looking on, as if he's just really just going off into his own world or something like that, or into the horizon. So, Chris, I guess my question for you is this. Do you see the Brian Kendrick requesting for his release from WWE? And if not, or better yet, what should WWE do to prevent that?
I don't see him requesting his release. Like I said, he's getting up there in age. Like I said, he's been doing this for a long time. I think he is a veteran in the locker room. I think this is all some kind of storyline to play up to the Brian Kendrick eventually getting a title opportunity later down the road. I feel like the storyline. If he does leave, like I said, he's got many opportunities. Like I said, there's plenty of promotions up there right now that are on the rise. And you got AEW, you got Impact, you got more choices than you ever had before.
Yep.
So he's got many choices he can go to. And I know any of those companies would take him in a heartbeat. I'd love to see him in NWA Power if I had a choice if he does leave, but I'm just biased on that. But like I said, I don't think he's leaving. I really don't. I think the big difference is if he does do it, he's doing it the right way. This is legit. He's taking a leave of absence. He's not being like Mike Kanellis, who just doesn't want to show up. He's having a dispute. He's not being like Luke Harper, who just, it's sad, that whole situation with Luke Harper. So talented. They could have made him easily their version of Bruiser Brody. They could have done so much with him. They're such a wasted talent that they're wasting right now with him. That's a different circumstance. Like the Brian Kendrick, like I said, he's still got it. He's still got a few years left in the tank. He definitely has a lot to give to wrestling. If he does leave, he will help another organization out easily. But I don't think he's leaving. I think this is pretty much, to me, it's a storyline so he can build up to maybe eventually getting an opportunity, going through that storyline with respect factor to be able to get one opportunity at that Cruiserweight Championship. And that's what the story I think they're telling is. I think this is a storyline purpose right now.
All right. Fair enough. Yeah, at this point, Brian Kendrick, I mean, Miz, sign an extension. Paige, sign an extension. Nakamura, sign an extension. And they're all, really into this game and have really made themselves, and WWE has pretty much given them everything to a degree, but also kind of shunned them a bit too. But with the Brian Kendrick, I really don't know at this point. I mean, we all saw back in the Cruiserweight Classic how much Daniel Bryan, the mentally stable Daniel Bryan, that's a story for another day, he basically shows how much he supports and backs up his friend D. Brian Kendrick. So I can only imagine what Daniel Bryan thinks about this too. And then again, D. Brian Kendrick, he is no stranger, for example, to Impact Wrestling when he was once there as well as a Wizard of Oz, always doing this, the weird good thing or whatever. I'm sure Ring of Honor could find something for him. And who knows what AEW could do with a veteran like him at this point, too. But at this point, D. Brian Kendrick, he kind of is like almost a Dolph Ziggler, and he's tired of being that. He feels like he deserves an opportunity, and he hasn't been given it. And this is different than Mike Kanellis because literally he's been there since day one. He came in as champ, and he lost the title. Haven't had... So, yeah, I think right now this is just a time for him to really reflect, and I think he will return. Probably go after the champ, whoever that might be at the time. It wouldn't surprise me, though, if they do try and set him up against the Speed Demon Leo Rush, and he tries to outwit him. Because Brian Kendrick is the man with a plan. He is nowhere near as fast as Leo Rush, but he certainly is more cunning. So we'll see what happens with him. All right, what's on your mind tonight? What do you want to discuss on Simple Stances?
Well, we had this conversation earlier. We were discussing about, how it seems like the new crop of 205 Live talent from NXT is taking over and the OGs are sitting there. So what I would propose is, could you see it possibly as Survivor Series? They do it where you have 205 Live versus NXT with the talent they're using from NXT to go 205 Live right now versus the OGs of 205 Live. You put the Bari, you put the Brian Kendrick now, but that kind of ruins that purpose of what we just talked about there. But if realistically, I would have done it before you told me that, would have been Daivari, Brian Kendrick, Tony Nese, and who else could you put on there right this moment? And the gentleman, there you go, there's 4 right there, and you could have had them facing Leo Rush, Swerve, Mendez, and, you could have done it, or even do a 3-on-3, take Brian Kendrick out, do a 3-on-3 traditional Survivor Series match, do it that way. Would you be opposed to the idea? Would you think that'd be kind of interesting because you can build it up? You are doing Survivor Series. You are including NXT. Why not have Showcase 205 Live doing a traditional Survivor Series match? That would be a way to showcase them, and, you could have that to start the show and have a hot opener.
With this sort of wild card and the fact you have NXT bringing in the factor of unpredictability and actual interest to the show, I could definitely see that being unfortunately, only showcased as a filler. But here's my fear. They probably only do that on the pre-show because the pre-show is still a thing. Last year at Survivor Series, as you know, the tag teams, who already are irrelevant as it is, because tag team wrestling doesn't matter in WWE on the other rosters. By the way, main roster is NXT. There, I said it. Anyway, last year they did the freaking Team Raw versus Team SmackDown tag matches. And all they ever did with the Cruiserweights at this point, 8 out of 10, is they put them in the damn pre-show. If they do that, they probably just showcase them on the pre-show. If you somehow could build interest in this, but I don't think you can because of the week that's left and everything else going into it, and you can put this towards the middle like they did with Mustafa Ali and Buddy Murphy, of course that was for the title, then yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that because right now 205 Live, they're at a war with themselves. They're at a war with what they're supposed to be, NXT. But there are some that literally are pure and true 205 Live Cruiserweight division established 2016. And you know what would even be better if they come together and put the differences to the side and come out with those jackets that were made for them by I think Adam Pearce, showcasing we are the originals of 205 Live. We are the Cruiserweight division, and we're not just going to let these newcomers come in and take what we started. So, yeah, I would actually love to see that. As far as the teams go, it'd probably be a short, simple, fast-paced match. Probably would just be 3-on-3. I think at this point you would do Tony Nese, Arya Daivari, and there's Jack Gallagher, because I feel like even he can establish at least he is the Cruiserweight division. Yeah, I would do Jack Gallagher, Tony Nese, Arya Daivari versus the people that have gotten the best of them at this point. Angel Garza, Leo Rush, and Isaiah Swerve Scott. Because you would put your egos to the side but still have that story in play where both teams could obviously turn on each other. But the newcomers were more likely to turn on each other because we know how Angel Garza feels about Leo Rush. But they both are NXT. I wouldn't mind seeing 3-on-3, but only if you put it in the middle and so much as a filler to the point the crowd gains interest and understands 205 Live exists. Not the fact that, okay, it's a filler match, you can go get popcorn because Brock Lesnar versus Rey Mysterio is next. And I also don't want this on the pre-show because I don't feel like it would be respected enough. It would be after crowd effect or empty arena. But I would like to see that match. And if you don't do that Survivor Series, honestly, I would do it literally on the 205 Live before Survivor Series. I would do it next week Friday. But I do like that idea a lot. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about the newcomers. So I feel different when it comes to Lio Rush's stance in the Cruiserweight division. He is the champion, but we know he has an ego. He has pride in being champion, but he did win under some would call circumstances in his match. So I guess my question to you at this point is, Lio Rush, should he be seen in 205 Live, even though he represents both 205 and NXT, should he be seen overall as a face or a heel?
I honestly, in my opinion, I still look at him as a heel. I just think the difference is the fans are reacting to him. I think they're cheering him for the moves he does, but I still look at him as a heel. He still acts like a heel in some instances. Yes, at the end of the match, he's showing respect, like you said. I just talked about that earlier in the show.
Correct.
I will always still look at him as a natural heel. I will always look at him like that, even though he's getting great reactions and he's acting more like a babyface. My personal opinion, I will always look at him as a heel. I think he's natural as a heel, and I'm always going to look at him as that. Whether just because he's getting cheered by the fans, like I said, that's hard nowadays. It's a dying breed of those old school wrestlers that will still keep kayfabe going with being a natural heel, being a natural babyface. And it's so much of shades of gray now to the point it's like, you know what? I'm still always going to look at him as a heel, but he's getting cheered like a face. That's just the way it is now in wrestling in 2019.
Yeah, when you think about, especially with the NXT factor, think about everybody in NXT is cheered no matter what the reaction. You boo them at time, maybe a moment, hence the Undisputed Era attacking like Keith Lee and stuff like that, but you still cheer and support them. The only legitimate heels I see that's left, especially under NXT banner, is Shayna Baszler and Ari Daivari, because now he's NXT. But when I think about Lio Rush, I think about it like this. He's got the respect with Raul Mendoza. I could see him blowing up on Raul Mendoza and being like, it's all about me. I'm the champ of the hour. I'm the man of the hour. So I honestly feel like he should be established more as a heel, and I still see him as a heel. I actually posed this question on the hashtag 205Matters Facebook group, and Jerry Slaughter answered and said, in the championship match, as far as who he wanted to retain, he said Rush. He doesn't see him being transitional, and hopefully it will establish either Rush or Garza as a heel role on NXT television. To be fair to Garza, he's wishy-washy too. But at this point, it feels like right now, with it being personal, Garza's got to be the heel and Lio Rush is the face. But I feel like once you go past this Garza-Rush feud, which I still don't think is over, yeah, I feel like Lio Rush right now, he should be established as a heel. That's just my thing. And I get it. The last champion of 205 Live was also a heel too. The previous champion, he was a face, short run. And the champion before that, he was a heel too. Ironically and chronologically, most champions in 205 Live, they've been heels. I get it. But It just seems like it's a more natural fit. Because as far as a face Cruiserweight champion, it just doesn't seem to go for longevity. Hence Tony Nese. And since he lost it, he don't even know who he is anymore. So I think Lio Rush at one point or another, hopefully post-Survivor Series, I feel that's what this all around. I hope Lio Rush is established permanently as, all right. Is there anything else you want to talk about circumstances?
Well, on Lio Rush, what you're saying, like I said, this is the way I look at it at the end of the day with Lio Rush. You love to hate him, but you're going to respect and appreciate the talent that he has. That's the best way to sum up Lio Rush.
Simple as that. Well said.
Now, here's another thing, too, that I was thinking about, too. We have everybody under the NXT umbrella and 205 Live umbrella, all in one big happy family, including NXT UK. We got the Royal Rumble coming up in January. What are your thoughts do you see with 205 Live, being part of NXT? Do you have there's any chances this year of anybody from 205 Live being part of the Royal Rumble? Or since now that they're more under the umbrella of NXT UK? Because like I said, this is where the shades of gray here. Because if we're doing it where, yes, they're part of NXT, but we're still going to have them on after SmackDown, or if we're going to do it and go forward being part of Full Sail from now on Friday, because they're still being flip-flopping with that right now as well. Obviously, we just talked about the differences between the two shows.
Yeah.
Do you see the idea of wrestlers from 205 Live brand being part of the Royal Rumble match itself, or do you see them just being more exclusively used for takeovers from now on?
The fact that 205 Live is under NXT, and this year's Royal Rumble, which is actually one of the better Royal Rumbles I can remember, that had stars from not only NXT, but NXT UK, and both the men and women, I might add, including but not limited to Candice LeRae, Rhea Ripley, and the Cruiserweight Pete Dunne, and Johnny Gargano, Johnny freaking Wrestling.
Yes.
I have to imagine, yes, the Cruiserweights would definitely play a part in the Royal Rumble, and I could see at least, based on momentum and name value alone, I can see at least Isaiah Swerve Scott and Angel Garza in the Rumble. And if Leo Rush is not the Cruiserweight champion, I could definitely see him in there too. Because not only do people remember Leo Rush for the main roster name value, because he was on the other roster. Well, sorry, I keep forgetting they used to be main roster, they're not. I could definitely see the Cruiserweights playing more into it. Tony Nese, he could definitely be a big factor in this as well. And Ari Daivari will definitely bring heat. I definitely see the Cruiserweights playing a part in the Royal Rumble. Now, as far as one winning the Royal Rumble, do I think there's one yet with enough momentum that I could see main eventing WrestleMania trying to bring the Cruiserweights to the main event? I mean, it's not like the Will Ospreay tirade where he's trying to bring the IWGP Junior Heavyweights to the main event because they deserve to be. I can't wait for that match. Taking time out with that. But anyway, rambling. Blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I definitely can see the Cruiserweights playing in the Royal Rumble, and personally, I hope they do. But as far as one right now winning, I can't pick one right now. Here's the thing. Usually by this time, we got an idea who we think is going to win the Royal Rumble. We got jack shit. I have no idea what direction to go in WrestleMania or the Royal Rumble. So at this point, I can't even see who I think could win it. But I do see the Cruiserweights playing a key part in it. Especially. Because you got more bodies. And NXT now being treated as the same foundation of Raw and SmackDown. I can see them doing 10 Raw, 10 SmackDown, 10 NXT. And then they have some sort of Cruiserweight Battle Royale or some sort of Cruiserweight #1 match or whatever where Cruiserweight gets an opportunity to be in the Royal Rumble. I mean, Tommy was in WWE. He was in the freaking 100-time Royal Battle Royale. So why not the Royal Rumble? What about you? What's your thoughts?
I think it needs to be, like I said, if you're going to do it, like I said, since you're going to have all three brands, like I said, Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT, like I said, for example, for Survivor Series, I think it needs to be like that for the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. If you're going to do it like that, I think you need to have NXT involvement for all four of your major branded shows. These are your four main shows you've had for numerous years. Like I said, they have history. It's time to include NXT in those shows and include them more. Like I said, you've been doing it with NXT stars in the Royal Rumble, but now I think it's time to involve 205 Live stars as well and have more involvement with them, have them have some interactions. You could set up future storylines because here's the thing, if you're involving NXT stars, why not have it where you have, like, Leo Rush enters the Royal Rumble, and then you have Tony Nese, the storyline with Tony Nese, he's trying to get back up there. What if Tony Nese comes into the Royal Rumble and eliminates Leo Rush? So now that he can still be a champion. Why not? He's a man, he's a man that could go after two goals. He could have a goal where he's going to main event WrestleMania as the NXT Cruiserweight champion. And then you have Tony Nese ruin that dream, finally doing something that pushes Leo Rush and says, all right, fine, I'll give you your opportunity. You've been complaining about this opportunity, complaining about it. I'll give you your opportunity at the Cruiserweight Championship because you cost him his dream of being the man that challenges for either W Championship or the Universal Championship. You cost him that dream of headlining WrestleMania as the NXT Cruiserweight Championship, challenging for either one of those titles. That's what I would do with the Royal Rumble. You could be able to tell a story and highlight stars from 205 Live. With Leo Rush being part of 205 Live to NXT. That's what I would do. You could be able to tell a story and showcase them at the Royal Rumble, and you could tell a story that way.
You bring up a very interesting point too, as far as storytelling goes, because again, Royal Rumble marks the road to WrestleMania. In between there, we got Elimination Chamber and Fastlane. Now, if NXT is being looked at as the main roster and is literally the third brand, and you're not going to do brand exclusive pay-per-views, then I can honestly see them furthering this story with a match at Elimination Chamber or even Fastlane for that matter. Because it sounds like what's going to happen going forward is NXT and the Raw and SmackDown are going to be involved in all these pay-per-views to a degree. I hope that's not the case, but as far as WrestleMania season goes, I think that would make perfect sense. Because you're not only building stories off Raw and SmackDown, you're building stories off of NXT as well. Because NXT deserves that showcase, and you might as well treat it as an equal if you want people to believe in it and have a chance against AEW. I do like that a lot. All right. Okay, so I got one more thing before we go into our matches. And unfortunately, it's also, we'll see what happens. There's another Cruiserweight, and you notice he wasn't part, I believe, of the intro that has officially requested his release. Oney Lorcan. So Oney Lorcan right now, he has been one of the more regular highlights, it felt like, of 205 Live when he first came in, but now he's kind of fell off the radar. And he hasn't really been involved in much. At this point, he even released a thing called Biff Rules with caption on a rock shirt. And he released the following statement. Last night, after praying and considering it a lot, thinking about my children and their future, I made one of the most difficult but sensible decisions I have had to make in my professional wrestling career. I have asked for my WWE release. There's more to that statement, but apparently, rumor has it, this was just done a few days ago. I think even earlier today, I'm not entirely sure. He's grateful for the opportunity they gave me. However, he realized that he's stuck in a place where I am not valued as an athlete or talent. So what do you know? Once again, someone else feeling undervalued. So to close the night, I ask you this. Two things, kind of. Oney Lorcan, what do you see as his future? And do you see anyone else, as far as the 205 Live roster goes, in a state of undervaluement?
I think Oney Lorcan's has been one of the highlights for me on 205 Live this year. His transition to being part of 205 Live, the stories he's told, the journey he's had. Like I said, I've had ups and downs with him on some of his matches, and I won't rehash them here because, like I said, we've had it on past episodes, so check them out. You can hear my differences, opinions about how he's had great matches to not so much, like I felt like he was dialing in. I think Oney Lorcan is a big part of 205 Live, especially now with being part of the NXT brand. I think he would be a big addition. It could help elevate the 205 Live brand. If he wants to leave, he feels undervalued. I don't know. I don't see him being undervalued. Like I said, should he have won the Cruiserweight Championship at some point? I kind of feel like the best opportunity would have been that feud with Gulak, but also at the same time, as I said before, I thought it was too early to take the title off Gulak with Lorcan if Lorcan had beat him. So, I mean, I think his opportunity would have come up later down the road, but like I said, it's one of those things, if he feels like he's underappreciated, undervalued, I don't see how you were undervalued, underappreciated when you were getting matches on NXT UK this year, 205 Live. You got pay-per-view matches with the champion. You had opportunities after opportunities after opportunities, and you've been everywhere on all three shows. You've been everywhere. So I don't think he's underutilized. He's been given opportunities to be on NXT UK. Like I said, one of the highlighted matches I talked about with him was in NXT UK with Lorcan and Birch versus the Grizzly Young Veterans. I praised that match. I think that was the first match I gave 5 spots of tea to, and everybody can check that out on the Tea Party. That was the first match I ever gave 5 spots of tea to, and it has Lorcan involved in it. I don't think he's underappreciated. If he feels like that his decision, if he wants to leave, he wants his release, that's his decision. My opinion is no, I don't think he's underutilized just because of the fact he's been showcased on all 3 shows. Underutilized to me as somebody who is randomly appears, hey, I'm still here, y'all, have a match, and then is gone for months. It's not the case with him at all.
Completely agree. I mean, he literally went in like Spitfire. He got the torch passed by him by Cedric Alexander to carry 205
Yes.
Live. He had cruiserweight opportunities against his bitter rival Drew Gulak. He's had tag team classes with Danny Burch at NXT Takeover in NXT UK on the NXT brand itself. Mix of wins and losses. He and Burch are a dynamic duo. They have pulled off amazing wins against Tony's Drew Gulak on 205 Live. But I guess he feels like it's just not enough. It seems he wants more. I think he just wants gold. I think he just wants, like, a bigger showcase. I mean, I don't know. As far as undervalue, I feel that that's a stigma with some of the cruiserweights, especially now the old originals who are basically being, taken to school by the new school, per se. I mean, Ari Daivari, he's been whooped twice now by freaking Isaiah Scott Swerve. Tony needs to set opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to try and regain the title or get close to the title, and he's failed upon that against the likes of Angel Garza and even the champ himself and Raul Mendoza, even if you could give it an inverted assist to Leo Rush. So as far as undervalued goes, I really don't see when you have your own platform, per se, and you can make it your own, that you're undervalued. Maybe you feel like you're not respected enough by the WWE Universe. Maybe you feel like you're not getting the opportunities you deserve. But hey, maybe it just goes back to your win-loss record. But as far as Oney Lorcan goes, he's always been one of the more entertaining personas to me on Twitter as well. I must kick ass! All caps his friggin' Twitter, one of the best Twitters to follow. But also he brings great showcase matches. And then I look at the rest of the 205 Live roster, the old and the new, and I feel like it's still in a decent state. But as far as Oney Lorcan goes, if this is how he feels, I'm just wondering, where does he want to go from here? And what do you hope to achieve? And by the way, I think nothing will come from it because he's literally pulling, I feel like, the Luke Harper approach. And you saw what happened to that. Now, truth be told, Oney Lorcan, in my knowledge, he has not been injured. So they can't tack on, per se, because of that. But he still has a contract to Vince McMahon. Don't think he won't. Bottom line, I don't think he's going to be released, and I do hope better things come to him, but I hope that he does appreciate a little more about what has been given to him, especially with the fact that he has literally been used on the 3 brands that respect him for his pro wrestling and have not jobbed him out, per se, like Lars Sullivan and Lucha House Party. But I digress.
And he's also, you got to remember, too, he was showcased on that oh, my good Lord, I'm going to remember brain dead what it was called, the Captain's match when it was Gulak's team versus Lorcan's team on 205 Live. The whole episode was based on this one match, and he was featured, and he went to the very end. It was him and Humberto, who were the last survivors in the match. He was highlighted. He was featured. It was his team. He was the team captain. He was featured. I'm sorry, and that it kind of perturbs me a little bit that he's saying he feels like he's underrated. And I'm giving so many examples. How can you say you're underrated when you've been highlighted on 3 different shows? And the last match they had in NXT UK, they had a matchup, him and Birch against Imperium. Come on now, that's the hottest act in the NXT UK brand. You've been getting championship matches on 205 Live. You're highlighted on NXT in matches, #1 contendership matches with Leo Rush. You had a showcase. Like I said, you've had incredible matches and showcased your ability. NXT takeovers. I mean, main roster, even though I don't want to say it, even though it was on the pre-show, I hate to say it, though, but he's had opportunities to showcase his talent and abilities. So that really perturbs me, the word underrated, because of the fact if you were underrated or underappreciated, you would barely, you know what, Heath Slater can say he's underappreciated or underutilized. That's an example. I'm sorry, but I'm saying, and I like Heath Slater because he said he's the longest member of Nexus to still be on the show. I'm just gotta say that.
That's true.
But I'm just saying, that's somebody who can complain he's underutilized, underappreciated. Cedric Alexander, for a time, could be somebody who's saying he was underappreciated, underutilized when he went to the main roster. Buddy Murphy, same scenario. He has been highlighted. If he had, like I said, if he wasn't on the show at all and he just made sporadic appearances, then he had every right to complain. I can completely understand. But it just perturbs me when he says he feels like he's underutilized when, like I said, since January of this year to all the way till just recently, he has had opportunities and be able to showcase them. I don't understand. It's got to be because he wants a title. that's just like you said. He's got to want a title. And I'm going off a rant here because of the fact that I praised so many of his matches from NXT UK to NXT to 205 Live. Like I said, he's come full circle as a tag team with Birch to a singles wrestler. He has come a long way. So I just, because he's so fucking, excuse me, I'm saying that, sorry, so fucking talented. There's no reason he should be complaining. That's just, I don't know. I'm sorry, I had to get that out. I just feel like.
Let me go ahead. I'll just close with this by reading the rest of I'll read a portion of the statement here. He ends the statement with this. I am so grateful for the opportunity they gave me. However, I realize that I am stuck in a place where I'm not valued as an athlete or talent. I have worked hard and honestly for many years to polish my trade. I have been loyal, respectful, a team player, support, and I have waited patiently for the opportunity to show the world everything I can do. Unfortunately, after all these years, that opportunity never came, or I feel that it will never come while I remain where I am. So apparently he feels like he hasn't shown everything yet or been given everything to show it. So I'll just say this. Oney, you obviously want more than what the world has given you. Now, if you feel that WWE, who is the biggest company in the world, are not doing that for you, I'm very curious to see what will do that for you based on the state you're in. Because compared to many, many others with much lower morale, zero ass, and wants their contract to be let go, you have actually had a number of showcase matches and only want the best for you. Simple as that. I'll just go to close with that. Oney Lorcan, hope to see you on 205 Live or NXT very soon. Kicking ass! But that I digress. All right. Well, this has been an incredibly extended discussion. Let's go ahead and close the night off with, of course, ladies and gentlemen, we still stick to it. And this time you get two because we did a doubleheader. As we continue our road to episode 50, well, now it's probably 49. So I believe now, like you said, we are on numbers 11 and 10, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, 11 and 10.
We're finally getting ready to crack the top 10.
Good grief almighty, it took all this time. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it real quick here. So my number 11, I look at the veterans. I look at the 205 Live originals. I look at what they brought to the table. I look at the passion. I look at the circumstances. And I look at what matches I remember. When I look and see what's happening to Drew Gulak, it fucking disgusts me. But then I figure about Lee Brian Kendrick, and he's taking an indefinite leave of absence because he doesn't know where he stands. He's not getting the opportunities. So I just went way back, and I looked at some 205 Live yesterday to remind myself of why I picked this. And I picked this because it showed Drew Gulak and the intensity he offered and how much he wanted to win. My number 11 is Lee Brian Kendrick versus Drew Gulak, number one contenders Cruiserweight Championship Tournament, February 26, 2019 from this year. You know how much I wanted Drew Gulak to win that number one contenders tournament this year, to go after the title. And we all talked about how it ended. But this match was a good 18-minute bout between the veteran trying to get back to that showcase. And I remember talking with Cindy about this on a previous episode of 205 Matters that when I thought about who could face Buddy Murphy for the title at WrestleMania, I was like, maybe they'll do the newcomer, Roberto Carrillo, who's been on momentum shift. Or maybe they'll go with, the guy, the veteran, Lee Brian Kendrick, or Tony Nese because he might turn face. Lee Brian Kendrick, though, was my secondary pick in this thing. And he had an incredible showing in this match, but it wasn't enough as he fell asleep to Drew Gulak. I recommend you all go watch that match. It's from February 26, 2019. As far as my other one goes, when I think about what we just went through, AEW Full Gear, and the extreme circumstances that showed a little bit of everything for a pro wrestling fan, I think about two previous people as well that brought everything to a match to end a feud, it seemed. My number 10 is Akira Tozawa versus Mike Kanellis. Support NoDQ, their no disqualification match. May 7th, 2019. And this match was wild. Not to mention, I followed up on this with a 411 Mania interview where Mike Kanellis loved working with Akira Tozawa and loved working that match. You remember some of the spots where Mike Kanellis, of course, had a trash can over his head and Akira Tozawa dive headfirst into it. And then we saw at the end literally Senton bombs him on a stack of chairs that paralyzes Mike Kanellis to the point he had no choice but to just submit defeat. And Akira Tozawa, lackadaisically, he did pin him, but he won. And then Maria comes down and consults her husband and, No words, now said. Mike Kanell still incapacitated. Mike brought it all out, and he did it by himself here. And this was a way to truly end a bitter rivalry, as Mike Kanell was out to prove a point on how good he was to himself. So, briefly summing it up, go watch that match. My number 10 is Akira Tozawa's Mike Kanell's no disqualification match, May 7th, 2019. Woo! All right, Chris, what are your two matches as we continue our countdown towards number 1?
Just a quick response to your number 10, though. That match right there, when you go watch it, I want everybody who's been a wrestling fan for as long as I have back growing up, everybody watch that match. That is the best definition of an old school ECW Cruiserweight style match, how they did that. And if anybody who's an old school fan of that, I gave this match high praise. I believe I gave it actually 5 out of 5, actually, if I remember right. I think it was one of the two matches I've given 5 out of 5s on 205 Live. And that match was greatly well. That is a great watch. Everybody who hasn't seen it, I will definitely praise that match over and over again. I could rewatch that match over and over again. Definitely check that one out. It's number 10. That's a good one. Like I said, I got my number 11. Like I said, some of these matches, like I said, I go back. Like I said, they're not any particular, like I said, any particular orders on the year and dates. But since we're not going by episode numbers anymore, I'm making sure I give the dates. And I'm making sure I don't botch like I did with the Jerry thing, but I digress. Anyway, so I made sure I wrote it down this time, not use my phone to trick me. So my number 11 is Tyler Bate versus TJP from January 1st. Wait a minute, hold on. I'm saying that wrong. January 30th, 2018. See, I even wrote down I'm botched. See how that works? Yeah, and this match, like I said, I thought was really interesting how they did it. Like I said, British Strong style with Tyler Bates. You know, like I said, he was first WWE United Kingdom champion. This was a great match, him and TJP. And I miss TJP being on 205 Live. I really do. I thought he was really talented. And like I said, you thinking that TJP was actually going to tap Tyler Bate out. I love the storytelling here where he thought he was going to tap out. He was going to tap out. But if I remember, because Sarah wrote this on there, like I said, it was a great match. Like I said, it's an interesting story to tell, and it's a great match to watch. That's what I'm going to say about it. So if you haven't seen that match.
Yeah, it was a surprise finish.
Yes, it was. And that was the interesting about it, too. I wanted people to be surprised and actually go watch the match. Thanks for ruining the finish for everybody else, y'all. No, I'm
you know what's funny? You remember when I said that our matches are not going to, line up, but we might say the same match? I'm pretty sure I said that match earlier in my count. That was why I did memory.
You did. I said there was no way. And, folks, there was no way me and him could come up with a legitimate top 25 list of single matches from 205 Live and not have the same matches on both our lists. It just may be in different order. So if we repeat ourselves or you've heard it before, it's because either he's probably said it or I probably said it already. Just so, because it's so hard to come up with 225 different lists.
Now that we're in the top 10, I'm just waiting to see if one of our top 10 matches literally line up with each other. Imagine the moment that happens. But great number 11.
We're going to see.
That's your top 10, dude. What's your number 10?
Number 10 is TJP again versus Neville from this while I'm misreading the dates, January 3rd, 2017. This match, this was Neville pretty much introducing himself pretty much into the 205 Live world. This match was awesome. And this is another one that did not end the way you would think it would end. You would have thought maybe it ends with a red arrow. Maybe it's going to end up ending with TJP tapping him out.
Yeah.
And it didn't end like that. It ended on a superplex.
Yeah.
That
was the closer.
And that proved to me then, watching that match, that proved to me that doesn't always have to be a finishing move that they win these matches by. Because, everybody's big on the whole, got to hit the finishing move. And with this day of age wrestling where you have, hit my finish, you're going to kick out. Hit your finish, I'm going to kick out. And they do it over and over again. To see a match end with a superplex and they win, no kick out, that made it more intriguing because it proved to me that it's not always the finishing moves that they hit that can win a match. It could be something as simple as a superplex or a fruit roll-up, as we all call it, because, we all get drove crazy sometimes with the roll-ups. But if
It's the
it's
most
building up
dangerous
to a
move in
good
wrestling.
story and it makes sense, I don't mind a roll-up win. And like I said, I thought that was that moment. This was that one match that made me go, you know what? They actually proved a point that they don't have to hit their finish. He didn't have to hit his red arrow to win the match.
Yeah.
He won with a superplex. So, but the match itself was a really good match. Like I said, Neville, even though he is the bastard Pac in AEW, that man can go. TJP, like I said, I have 2 matches back to back that had TJP in it. I miss TJP, but he's still an incredible wrestler. I support and I love all the work he does now that he's gone from there. But those why they're number 11 and number 10 on my list.
I mean, hey, he's doing a lot of great stuff in New Japan Pro Wrestling, so I don't blame
Yes,
them.
he
We all know
is.
how much he respects TJP, one of the best technical wrestlers in her opinion, and we also know how great TJP was from the Cruiserweight Classic. Caught me a surprise with how he won. So again, great picks, and we're now getting the nitty-gritty. We're breaking the top 10. But with that being said, folks, we are done here with this extra long, special, extended double-header edition of 205 Live Matters. So thank you, everybody, for your patience and everybody who watched and tuned in. I greatly appreciate you all and your support. Thank you to the 99 people who have subscribed to my channel so far, too. This will become the exclusive home of 205 Live Matters due to YouTube monetizing bullshit, but it is what it is. Simple as that. With that being said, Chris, it's been a while, but boy, was it worth the wait. An extreme pleasure, as always, sir, as we head into the go-home week to SurvivorSeries weekend. Oh, boy, a lot of crazy wrestling ahead. Anything you want to plug, and where can people find you?
Yes, you could follow me. You can follow me on Facebook at Christopher Mace. You can follow me on Twitter at Christopher Mace. You can check out my YouTube channel, The Holiday Christopher Mace. I have 86 subscribers as of today. I'm very humbled and honored by that. Only 14 more away from 100. I actually grew in almost 2 months that quickly, which is really surprising how much y'all love hearing me talk about wrestling. That really surprises me, but I feel very humbled and honored by that. Like I said, great content on there. Like I said, as Noah has his heart of his show is 205 Live Matters. The 2 shows that I'm very proud of is the Holiday Break Show, where Noah's been a guest on there a few times, where we talk about just different things in wrestling that have happened. My last episode just talked about the WCW Hardcore Championship, something that is almost hitting its 20-year anniversary of when it was created. So I found that very interesting. So I had to discuss something. It's something that doesn't get talked about too much. So I like to sometimes talk about just random things that don't get discussed about too much. So on that show. And also my NWA Power Review show. I've had guests on there with the Victory Angel. I've had Jeff Meacham on the show. I've had Mark Views on there. NWA Power. I love that old school wrestling. Like I said, 205 Live Matters. Noah created that show. He went with it. That's his baby. I'm his co-host. NWA Power Review is my baby. I'm going from the episode 1 and going with it and going to keep on going with it. And I've been having a lot of fun watching the show. So please check those 2 shows out. And just a special shout out to Aaron Rift. I appreciate you. Like I said, putting the video here with 205 Live Matters with Noah Foster here and all his guests, including me. Me and him pretty much became his co-host after all these episodes we've done together. I think I've done the most episodes on the Tea Party and 205 Live Matters.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, you own this series and own the most guest appearances on NXT UK Tea Party.
So, but like I said, I love doing the shows, and like I said, I'm humbled and honored that, you put the shows on there, and I appreciate it. And like I said, always support NoDQ. Like I said, a lot of us wouldn't be doing these shows without Aaron Rift and Jeff Meacham doing the shows. And like I said, and always Stephen and Jerry, who gave guys like me and Noah Foster an opportunity to get on their show and have fun with it. And like I said, I'm actually going to independent shows now and having fun and doing my own channel. I would have never said that starting the beginning of this year that would have happened. So it's been a really blessed year when it comes to that. So thank y'all.
Good deal, man, always. And hey, we're just people that like wrestling. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know more about me, know this. I'm just a simple man. And if you haven't figured it out by now, I am a lifelong fan of waffles. I'm kidding. Well, actually, I do like waffles, too. Thank you.
Well,
yes,
I like
wrestling.
waffles. Nothing like waffles.
Wrestling. Mostly pro wrestling, not sports entertainment. But I digress. Sports entertainment has some good elements, but that's a rant for another day. But if you want to follow me and talk anything wrestling, the WWE 5 brands of NXT, 205 Live, NXT UK, Raw, SmackDown, yes, I critically critique them, but also All Elite Wrestling, Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Stardom, Pro Wrestling Noah, Independent Wrestling, Sport Pro Wrestling, folks, and more. Look me up on Twitter. NoDQ.com/Noah, takes my Twitter page, or at NFoss1916. I have somehow, just over a year, have hit over 2,000 followers. I have reached out to that many with my mind, spirit, and thoughts on wrestling. Unbelievable. Also, please follow my civil YouTube channel here at youtube.com/user/NoahFoster210. This channel now just bypassed its 1-year anniversary recently, and I am at 99 subscribers. Thank you all so much. It's been a ton of fun. I have no idea what I'll do with 100. Maybe I'll do a stream or something like that. But I'm also able to do other content for this channel, including but not limited to, of course, 205 Matches will continue going forward. But there's also a ton of wrestling predictions coming up, too, including but not limited to NWA Into the Fire pay-per-view, hosted by, of course, the Holiday Chris Mace. Ring of Honor Final Battle, which I will be hosting. New Japan Pro Wrestling's World Tag League finale. Maybe some Father Room if they do a finale show. And also other content coming up, of course, SurvivorSeries and NXT TakeOver War Game predictions with, of course, the Rated R board of the Wizard, 7R Osborne, and the crazy mad scientist general, Jerry Slaughter. I want my title back! But I digress. And Ken, I'm coming for your title at SurvivorSeries. Also,
and I
of course,
got beat the general as well.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I still hold this. This is it for the NX Team League, by the way. This is our last event, War Games. While Jerry has the title, I have the lead in points. So you're not only facing Jerry, you're facing me for victory. So good luck to everybody. But I'm sure
just because me and Jerry make these bets, I don't want to have to dance for a third time. So
I'm sure Jerry and Stan will come up with some unique tiebreaker with their creative minds, no doubt. But we'll talk more about that later. And like I said, stay tuned for more content. I'll be working, of course, Chris Mason more stuff. I'll be working with Jeff Meacham with some stuff. I hope to get him on video. Thank you, by the way, for your support as always. Tyler Joseph Smith, a.k.a. NoDQ's on TJS. He believed in 205 Live. He's the one that encouraged me to also start this and also really thought that I picked up the brand to finally be at Full Sail and been wanting that for a while. I'm sure he really enjoyed the Full Sail presentation, too. And speaking of which, as I ramble, support NoDQ. The reason I'm in YouTube. Forever indebted to the NoDQ family and Galaxy. Aaron, Riff, Caitlin, Jerry, Colin, you name it. They're all there. I could go on with names, but my brain's getting tired. Buy a shirt, buy something. NoDQ.com/merch. It's all there. I even have a shirt. Just do it. The holiday season's up here. Go shop at the Wrestling Trivia Challenge Champion store at PA Sensation. The one and only Greg Cherry. He has already made a call out to defend his title against the King of Marks champion, I believe it's called. I hope he goes for that challenge. I believe Greg's going to win. I hope he wins and keeps that title under NoDQ. But we'll see. And, of course, follow my social media platforms. Your opinions matter. There's a comment section on the official website. Polls, columns, mean gifts, reviews, recaps, sexy female pics. You name it, it's there. It's wrestling, primarily WWE with a hint of independent wrestling. I'll be going to another independent wrestling show next month. If you're in the Northwest Ohio area, I encourage you to attend Chaos Wrestling right here in Toledo, Ohio at the Maumee Fairgrounds. It's going to be a great show. I can't wait to see Orlando Christopher face Dante Keith for the Chaos Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then they go worldwide on Facebook Live starting in 2020. A lot of great plans coming up. I encourage you to follow the promotion. There'll be a link in the description below to their website. And as always, as I like to close, while I continue to rant and talk what's on my mind, while I can, support wrestling in general and your wrestling analysts for big and small. And let's keep growing this incredible, diverse, unique, good, unapologetic, no BS, elite wrestling community together. Simple as that. And please continue to stay tuned also to my weekly series with Eric Brown where we review the Wednesday Night War every week. We just did week 7, and it was a wild week. Simple as that. There's a playlist for the whole series, too, for y'all to tune into. But until next time, I am literally now officially done here. Thank you again for everybody who tunes in and watches and supports since day one. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, hit that bell to know when the next video is going to go live. Hit the like. I like thumbs up, whatever you encourage. Please leave me your thoughts and comments down below for all things Cruiserweight Wrestling and beyond. Anything you have questions on, anything you want to discuss, any feedback you might have. All is welcome. We appreciate you. So until then, it is right now 10:50 p.m. here where I stand, and I have work in the morning. So until next time, take care, enjoy life. Tomorrow's never guaranteed. Treasure family, enjoy life, enjoy wrestling. Find someone. There's so much wrestling out there now. There's something for everybody. I watch wrestling 5 days out of the week, sometimes 6. It all depends. This coming up with 7. Oh shit. But anyway, until the next video. Hey, I'm just gonna say it like it is. I got a busy ass week ahead of me, and you know it. And I'll have, of course, what I watch too. Until next time, thank you again. Take care. As my voice leaves me, I bid you all adieu, and have a good night.
Good night.
And as always, I will say it until I can't anymore, because it will always stay with me forevermore. 205 Live matters. Always.
Indeed.
Nazi will always be SmackDown's number 1. Bye, everybody.